Good afternoon, and welcome to the August Family Law Section Facebook Live series. My name is Amber Kornreich, and I'm a family lawyer in Miami, Florida. Before we get into today's very important topic, we'd like to remind everyone about the 2022 Leadership Retreat and Family Law Section Fall Meetings taking place August 24th through 27th at the Biltmore in Coral Gables. If you haven't registered yet, please remember to do so by visiting the website at familylawflaw.org. We'd also like to take a moment to remind you to follow the Family Law Section on your social media, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, at Family Law Flaw. Today, we have the tremendous privilege of having Dr. Deborah Day as a speaker on compassion fatigue. Dr. Day has received the Family Law Section's Visionary Award, and she does so much for the Family Law Section. She's on numerous committees as a leader and as an advisor, and is otherwise a fabulous psychologist, mental health counselor, mediator, speaker, and thought leader. Her publications and accomplishments are far too numerous to list, so suffice to say, thank you very much, Dr. Day, for being with us today. We are so excited to have you, and let's dive in. So, Dr. Day, what is compassion fatigue?
Compassion fatigue is what we all experience and don't know we're experiencing it. It is high pressure jobs where we're making decisions in a split second. We're problem solving. We're taking on the trauma and distress of our clients, and we're overworking ourselves. It's a very common problem. We typically refer to it as stress, but it's much more than stress. It's how we manage our day-to-day life. It's how we make those decisions, and it's how we impact not only on other people, but ourselves and our families.
So, Doctor, why are lawyers and other professionals in family law particularly vulnerable to experiencing compassion fatigue?
Lawyers, mental health professionals, physicians, judges, we all make decisions every minute of every day. We use up our emotional energy very quickly in a crisis situation, and it affects our ability to make decisions. So lawyers in particular are dealing with people in distress, people that have experienced trauma, people that have dependency issues, they're unsure, they're in crisis. So call after call, consult after consult is about putting out a fire, reassuring somebody, giving up your emotional energy to take care of your client. It is also preparing for that motion, that hearing, that trial. And it's long hours thinking and giving up. And that emotional energy that we give up drains us and causes us to be ineffective if we don't engage in self-care.
So, what can professionals do understanding what compassion fatigue is to prevent or treat compassion fatigue?
Well, first it's identifying it. What do I particularly do during the day that drains my emotional energy? If you think of emotional energy, we all wake up with the same amount in the morning. And if we don't spread out our work during the day, it could be all completely drained from us by 9 a.m. if we allow that to happen. So it is self-care. Don't read your social media the first thing when you wake up. Don't necessarily look at the news when you wake up, because those things have a negative impact on our energy conservation. Engage in self-care. Make sure we've gotten enough sleep. We eat. We exercise. We do those things in the morning to prepare our bodies for the stress of the rest of the day.
Thank you, Doctor. So, what happens when attorneys and professionals neglect self care?
The most important thing to keep in mind, excuse me, is when the most important thing that we have to keep in mind is negatively, let me change that. When we don't engage in self-care, we negatively impact on our decision making. which means we make poorer decisions. There are research studies out there that talk about judges as an example. Judges are much more lenient, congenial, and open to discussions in the morning as opposed to the afternoon. So if a judge is particularly stressed, they tend to be more harsh uh, and have harder, give more critical sentences and rulings in the afternoon. So we know it affects our decision making. It impacts our ability to control our impulses. We tend to be more impulsive when we're stressed out, when we're making too many decisions, when we're spreading ourselves too thin. So it has a direct impact from morning to afternoon, how we make judgments. Every judgment that we make affects the next judgment. And it's little things that we don't even think about. When we think about compassion fatigue, we're thinking about that interaction with the client. With the invention of social media, there's an impact on the decisions. Do we click? Do we take this person as a friend? Do we like this? Do we pin this? And we're doing those things on top of our jobs. So that decision fatigue takes its toll by the end of the day. And then what do? We go home. We walk into the house. Our spouses, our significant others, our children start demanding our attention and want decisions. Did you pay the bills? What's for dinner? What are you going to do with this or that? So it doesn't stop when we get home. So if we just continue to make those decisions, we fall into bed at night, we're exhausted, and we start the cycle over again. So when we talk about self-care, it also involves going home. How do we decompress and debrief ourselves on the car ride home? Do we ask our family to give us 10 minutes to change our clothes, to relax, to listen to some music? So then we can give our full attention. So we need those breaks. Those breaks are very important during the day. We need to, every hour, stand up, walk around, stretch, take a thinking break, eat food, drink water, stretch, do some yoga, do some meditation, whatever works for us. We need to schedule that self-care so we have the energy to spread out through the day and into the evening.
Thank you, doctor. Those are excellent suggestions, and we know that this is going to be really helpful to our membership. So just to conclude, are there any resources that might be available that we can direct attorneys to, and how can lawyers contact you if they want to continue this dialogue?
If they want to continue the dialogue, I'm at Psychological Affiliates located in Winter Park and Palm Beach. My phone number is 407-740-6838. Any mental health professional is available to an attorney. That doesn't mean you have to be a patient, but you can always have a consultation or a friendly chat. We can provide all sorts of resources for you for stress management, for distorted thinking, for relaxation. There are books. So I think the best thing you can do is self-help books if you're not interested in meeting with a mental health professional. There are also support groups for attorneys or professionals in general. If you're finding yourself stressed and you're drinking too much or you find yourself medicating, there are support groups for lawyers that are particularly helpful in dealing with those issues. So the resources are available. It's about identifying what your weaknesses are and seeking out those resources.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And also on behalf of the Family Law Section, we want to thank you. We also want to remind all the attorneys out there that there is the Florida Lawyers Helpline provided through the Florida Bar where lawyers can get free mental health assistance. So thank you so much, Doctor, and we hope to see everyone on next month's Facebook Live.
You're welcome.